Morning.
Good morning. I have Jeanetta Darno with me this morning, and I'm so happy that you've agreed to share your values and superpower. And folks, I thought I would share a little bit about Jeanette before she shares her values and superpower with you. But I always go to the LinkedIn, and Jeanette, it took me a while to study this one, but really cool stuff. I basically a BA from Jackson State University and a master's in human resource. I didn't put the university down. What was the university that you?
Oh, University of Texas.
University of Texas. Oh, I didn't want to say Texas. No, just uh,
I know.
an MBA from OSU, and then a captain in the U.S. Army. And you were in Korea, and you were in
Mm.
Desert Storm, and you were in Egypt. So you've been all over the place. Fantastic. And then with Walmart and HEB, and then it looks like Stanley Tools brought you to Columbus. Thank
Mhm.
goodness, how lucky we were for that. And then Cardinal Health, and then Nationwide, and then our family bank, Huntington, Abercrombie and Fitch, and then now, and you're moving
Mhm.
to Cincinnati, with good for them, as part of UC Health, all around diversity, inclusion, human resources, equity. What great work you must be doing inside those companies. So thank you for that, of course, Janetta. But I'd love to just go ahead and turn this over. We want to hear from you this morning.
Well, thank you, Tom. Like I said, I'm nervous. I'm excited and I'm nervous. It's the first time I've had to really express or talk about my values. And so I think what I'll start with, if there's my superpower, which I selected was inspiring others through alignment. Thanks for because I don't have my glasses on. Inspiring others
I
through alignment
understand.
of yeah of values and actions. And it's funny because when I started thinking about this and looking at pictures and just really trying to understand or articulate my values because I know what they are because everything I do, I'm driven by my values. But I try and make sure, especially as I've gotten older, that things where I spend my time, how I show up, or how people experience me aligns with my values. So I want to first start with the one on the bottom around love. And so everything in this picture for me is love. And I could have probably selected even more pictures and pictures of my dog and things like that around love. And I would say that my grandparents, which are the ones in the black and white photo, they were married over 50 years. Um, yeah, Arkansas. And my grandfather taught me love and respect. And I'll never forget, we used to spend summers in Arkansas from Chicago. My mom and dad would, I guess, get some free time and leave the kids in Arkansas with our grandparents. And it's a small town. Everybody's related to either my mom or my dad because they're both from the same small town. And my grandfather one day he was in his big old pickup truck and he saw somebody throw some trash out the window. Now you got to, think about this is probably early 70s. He pulled up to those kids and made them pull over and pick up the trash.
Love.
And yeah, and they did. And so, one for me was like respecting like our environment, but also the kids had respect for my grandfather and they were not, they're white kids. And so you got to think about this is in the South. This is in the 60s. That's pretty bold, you know.
Mm.
Um, but he did it in a loving way, but with respect. And it just really taught me how to um, show up, I guess, in a way, out of love and respect for an area. And then my mom and dad are the ones in the color photo there. They were married over 50 years. My dad passed away, but I would say they also taught me about, respect, love, authenticity. And what I mean by that is my dad was military. And you can see that picture too. My brothers were military, and my sister would kill me if she saw this. So I hope she never sees this because she was also military, but I couldn't find her photo. So bad, so bad. But when I think about the respect, we grew up in a neighborhood that had people from all over the world, and all different walks of life and all different backgrounds, religion, everything. And my mom and dad always taught us to have a very open home.
Mm.
And, like so much so that, like, if one of my little friends, I was mad at them, my mom didn't care. She's still like, you invite them over for dinner. We're having dinner tonight, invite them over. And it just was out of love. And, I could go on and on about, diversity and different aspects of diversity and openness. And, my friends who, are gay, or my niece who's, a lesbian, or, I mean, they just taught me how, like, love is about caring for one another. And I learned that so early that it's just part of who I am. And so when I think about grounding in my values, it was amazing to start going, well, you know what? Some people say, look at the military and think that's a discipline. To me, when I see the military, that was a love, because my dad was military. And it was just one of those things that we saw how he role modeled, respect and who he was, and high integrity. So to me, if you want to, for integrity, I think of the military is honoring who you are, honoring the flag, believing in something better than ourselves. So that's important. And then the last couple of things, my little nephew doing the OHIO, he, and I have three grandnephews. He's one of the three grandnephews. And I just think it's so important for him to understand college and the opportunity. So I wanted to start ingraining that in him through some fun activities. And so that's what he was doing. So he thinks about Ohio State, which is incredible, because even though I have two master's degrees, I'm the first kid in my family to graduate. I'm first generation graduate from college, and no one talked to me about college. So I think it's critically important that young ones see that. So then I guess authenticity, this is so crazy. So authenticity is me leaning into who I am, which is quirky, fun loving, very open, uh, naive at times, but yet very serious. And I used to hide the fun, openness, loving part of me to be serious and career driven. But as I've gotten older, um, I just am not willing to not be true to who I am. And so, you see me like kissing on the dolphins. I love animals. I love adventure. I love to travel. So that's me with my hat on. I was traveling, but I was doing work on my flight. So that's, that seriousness. But I think it's important for me to show alignment of being true to who I am, having high integrity, that people see love in what I do and how they experience me, and then always doing it with respect. So that's kind of how I made up.
I love it. That's
That goes
beautiful.
so fast.
It goes so fast, doesn't it? See, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that." But we always go a little long on these because they're special, and
Yeah.
for you to share your values with everybody is a big deal.
Mhm.
But wow, I can see how, Jeanetta, the work that you've done over the years must be pretty fulfilling for you. That you've gotten to do work that I think are pretty aligned with your values, right?
Absolutely. And falling into it, because I started in logistics and operations in the military. So to be able to do diversity work, and then reflect on how important it is to me in my core,
Yeah.
it's very fulfilling. I love what I do, and I love that I'm able to help people and they don't even know it sometimes.
Well, the companies that you've worked for too have been leaders in the space, and I, no, I don't think anybody can argue that corporations have not changed.
I
uh,
know.
right?
I know. Like, they're little baby steps. Like the
Uh-huh.
companies so what I would tell you too is the companies I worked for, um, all but one of them, only one of them was a leader in the space before I got there. So I'll just leave it at that. So part of it is, yeah. So part of it is, doing this work is like Santa Claus. Like, you can't tell people you're creating like this beautiful space, and it takes a while to get there. So they're leaders, but the bar is so low to be a leader.
Mm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what?
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. But one step at a time. And I was speaking with Mike Corey from the Chamber the
Yeah.
other day, and I'll say the same thing to you. How gratifying it must be that, number one, you get to bring your values to work, and you get
Hmm.
a difference, and the leverage, because you've been in such high profile positions, but the leverage and the legacy that you leave behind. And it really does affect thousands of people, right? Your values, the fact that you're holding dear your grandparents and your parents, you're carrying those forward. and that you get to leave that legacy everywhere you've been, make a difference, leave a legacy, and then thousands and thousands of people, not just the folks that work there, but their customers,
Yes.
society,
I
and we,
know.
right?
Yeah, and it's exciting. I mean, so even though
Yeah.
I say the bar is low, it's just because I have high expectations of the values of the United States, of what we said we want to be, and
Yep.
leaning into that. And so, my thing lately has just been, I know it's a journey, but it doesn't have to be um, as long as what we're saying. Like, it doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be slow.
No
It doesn't
kidding.
have to be slow, right? So,
Pick up the pace, right? Let's
right,
go.
we can pick up the pace. We can pick up the pace and listen to one another and respect one another and do everything with love.
Yeah.
If we do that, I think we could pick up the pace.
Yeah.
So I love what I do. I really do.
So given your work, the last 18 months and the social justice movement and really the lifting up the social justice movement at this time must have been an incredible experience for you. What's the last 18 months been like for you
You
around?
know, yeah, around this work, it
Yeah.
was one of those where I feel like I was designed to do what like I was put in a place at the right time. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm now in healthcare. And when you think about a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and the inequities that occurred with the pandemic on top of the social justice. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it was one of those times of leaning into my leadership capability around this work and bringing people together. So I was watching what was going on politically, and I was like, we just need to listen. I'm not here to talk at people. I
Yeah.
don't want leaders to talk at people. I want us to just listen to see how people are feeling so that
Mm-hmm.
they could, sometimes it helps to get it out in the open and
Yeah.
hear it and hear a different lived experience. And so for me, it's draining and gratifying,
I hear you.
you know? Yeah.
Definitely right place at the right time for your leadership. And Scott Kirkendall is a good friend of mine. He just commented. Scott is a life coach. He does fantastic work. He says, "Right, it's a journey, and we can step on the gas pedal."
And it's okay, right? Like
And
people are like afraid, like, step on it.
that's
Absolutely, we should step on the gas pedal,
got it.
and I think sometimes we're just so patient
Mhm.
um, that I just really think it's okay to step on the gas pedal and be impatient. Just do it respectfully, you know?
Absolutely.
And yeah, so lately what I've been saying is I'm not meeting people where they are anymore. It's like, I've been doing this too long. I was like, I want you to meet me at the starting line. That means you have skin in the game. You've done some of your own research, is take steps toward this.
Yeah.
And I will make sure you're equipped to go the rest of the distance,
Yeah.
but you have to meet me at the starting line.
Some of my friends have I hear you, and some of my friends have been like, read a book.
Right, I know.
There's a lot of YouTube videos out there.
Yeah.
Here, go watch this. I don't really have to go through all this. You can do this all by yourself, and then we can talk about it.
Right. It's 2021. And it's funny because that's exactly what I've said too. Is like, if you can Google,
Yes.
a Black Friday sale to get something or car information, you can Google about this. You can research it and make sure you look at credible sources.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And then you can have a conversation.
and then you can have a conversation, or then you can be curious. Like, be curious and ask.
Yeah.
And I've had folks say, "Well, Jeanette, I don't know what to say," so I say nothing, and I'm like, that's interesting. And so I just go, why don't you just, try just asking a question or being human, like just being respectful and nice.
Yeah.
If you start with that,
Yeah.
I think people respond.
It does, and it all comes back to our values, right?
It does.
And so I think the last eight, this is such a fun conversation. I could talk
Thank you.
forever with you, but I think the pandemic and of course the social justice issues coming to the forefront have really, a lot of people have examined their values, have said, well, wait a minute, what are my values? Which is one of the reasons I do this work. But, and they're changing, what are those top four values? Well, hopefully they aren't all, that they change. We root in our values, but we also consider what else should we value? And but at the core, some of your values, of course, authenticity and respect and love makes all of it a lot easier.
It really does. And then just even how we define love.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is people have defined it so narrowly and they need to, I can't say what people should do, but for me,
Yeah.
it's so important to make sure that it's truly as pure as it's supposed to be,
Nice.
you
Nice.
know. So
Try
thanks
to.
for having me here too.
I know. Oh, I know. I'm just going to keep yapping away. I hope we get to talk some more at some point. I thank you for all the work you're doing and have done, and you're not done. I know you aren't done, so you're going to keep doing your stuff. But I think one of the most exciting parts for me is, first of all, I love your values, which is so incredible. The photographs were beautiful of your grandparents and your parents and your nephew. And then you kissing that dolphin. That's going to be the first image that pops in my mind when I think of you is you kissing a dolphin. Um, but really beautiful, beautiful photographs, beautiful values. Thank you for your work. I'm going to keep following you. We'll look for your name to pop up on the program every now and then. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, even when it's really damn cloudy out, the sun is always shining, and you are the sunshine, right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jeanetta. Have a wonderful day. Good luck with your move.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right.
And I'll be following you. Love this.
All right. Take care.